Hello everyone and welcome to this new webinar session. Today we are going to introduce our Master in International Hospitality Business. On the line with us today we have our Program Director, Pretima Farrant. Hello Pretima, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Nice to hear to everyone today. Thank you.
Great. We also have two current students on the line with us. So Thomas from our London campus. Punit is having issue logging into the session, so he should be able to join us later. He's from our Swiss campus. I think I can hear him in the background, so it might be good. So we will start the presentation with Pretima. She will tell you more about the course content and career opportunities. More panelists will join us in the second part of the presentation to explain our different flexible study options and how the career and internship team can support you throughout your studies. And we will finish with a Q&A. So you are more than welcome to ask all of your questions during the session, and we will answer all of them at the end. So I will now hand over to Pretima.
Okay, thank you, Laurie. So just to introduce myself, as Laurie said, I'm the Program Manager for the Masters in International Hospitality Business. Just a little bit about my background. I studied hospitality many years ago, and since then my career was starting off in the UK, so that's where I'm from, the United Kingdom, working for global companies. Some of you may have heard of the airline Virgin Atlantic, another company which is Eurostar, which is actually connecting the UK to the continent, to London to Paris, and London to Brussels. So I worked in global sales roles whilst I was in the United Kingdom, and then moved over to Switzerland nearly 9 years ago. And whilst I've been in Switzerland, I've been again in hospitality roles, but also in education, so in client relationship management roles. But through and through, I'm from, as I said, a hospitality background, now in education, and I bring with me the passion to the programs, and I'm excited to see students that come to us at Glion and want to develop in this area as well. So that's a little bit about me. I will pass over to some of our students that are joining us today. So firstly, over to Thomas, who's based in London. Thomas, just an introduction to yourself, thank you.
Yes, good morning, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Thomas, I'm French, I'm 21 years old, and I'm studying in London in MSc in Hospitality Business. I studied the hospitality industry since 7 years now, and before to come to Glion, I did a bachelor's degree in France in International Hospitality in Luxury and Business Hotels.
Thank you, Thomas. Now, we had connections issues with Punit earlier. I don't know if we've managed to get him back on. Punit?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, there we go.
Okay, perfect. So good afternoon and thank you to everyone who's joining in from all over the world. My name is Punit Paul. I am from India and Canada. I'm currently a master's semester 2 student studying IHB, International Hospitality Business, here in Puhr. I'm also honored to hold the position as the master's representative for Glion in Switzerland. Now, we act as a link between the student body and the student affairs in managing all student life in this campus as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Punit. As Punit mentioned, both of the students here today have ambassador roles as well. So a part of the overall experience at Glion. So they may talk to you a little bit later about these roles as well. Thank you. Laurie, so thank you. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay, so Switzerland and London, these are the homes of hospitality. So we'll look at the two different campuses individually. Switzerland is renowned for being the home of hospitality, something that we're very proud of. It's part of our DNA. Showing the slide just here, you'll see the two Swiss campuses that we have. So based in Glion, so the picture at the top overlooking Lake Geneva is the campus in Glion. And the picture at the bottom is our Puhr campus, which is where this master's program is actually based. Punit will give you a little bit more information about the actual area and sort of student life there. In terms of the actual campuses itself, and the overall experience in Switzerland. As I mentioned, Switzerland is renowned for hospitality, quality products. It's very much about precision. And in terms of where we are located, we are very well connected in a thriving culture of business and innovation. In 2020, in the Global Innovation Index, Switzerland was actually ranked as the most innovative country in the world. And this was actually 10 times in a row. What's important about this is that this is what feeds into our programs and the overall academic and personal experience that you get from Glion. So this is where we really thrive on being at the heart of this innovation, one of the top countries for this. Switzerland is also renowned for some of the headquarters of multinational companies. Companies such as Nestle, where their headquarters are down on Lake Geneva. Other companies like Richemont, which is the luxury goods group, pharmaceuticals, Novartis and Roche. Companies like Philip Morris, the tobacco company. Reason why I actually bring this up is because sometimes we do actually have some of our students that go off into positions within these headquarters as well. Now, a little bit about life as a student in Puhr. Puneet, can I hand over to you?
Sure, Pretima, thank you. So we currently have 2 campuses in Switzerland. For Masters, one our Glion campus and the other one is our Puhr campus. For Puhr campus, where I'm currently situated as well, we have a fantastic and a very healthy student community. Now, Puhr is generally a smaller town. However, we are very accessible to any of the big cities. Now, this could be if you wish to visit, such as Lausanne, Bern, Montreux, or even Geneva for that matter. Here, our life is very independent and everything is pretty much in walking distance, such as supermarkets, you got fitness centers, or even train station. Now, in general, it is a smaller community, so you get to know everyone around, and it's just very comfortable to be around everyone as well. That's more about Puhr.
Thank you, Puneet. And for those that can't see us, we're currently surrounded by snow on the Swiss mountains as well. So, okay, moving over to, so as I mentioned, this particular program is delivered in 2 locations, in Switzerland, in Puhr, is what Puneet just mentioned, and we also have our London campus. So, Laurie, if we can just move on to the next slide, please. I think we've frozen on the slides. That's okay, I can continue with that. There we go. So in terms of our location in London, the Glion campus is actually based in the Roehampton University. London is renowned for hospitality. It's very well known as the finance hub. And also for studying in the UK, in London, what you will find that you are fully immersed in the English language as well. It's a thriving place, it's multicultural, fast-paced, and I'm going to pass over to Thomas, who can give you a little bit about how life is in London as a student.
Yes, for sure, thank you. So yes, our campus is smaller, and we have many activities also in our campus because we are linked with Roehampton University, and so you have sports fields also. The accommodation are very close to the main campus, like 2 minutes walking. It's very multicultural, as in Switzerland also. And yeah, about the student life, I think we have everything to do this right in our campus. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much. Okay, so moving on to, you're wondering, who is this particular program for? Who is it designed for? So I'm just waiting for the next slide, thank you. So in terms of this actual International Hospitality Business Masters, who is this program for? So it's for those students that are interested and want to pursue careers within the hospitality industry, but it's not exclusively for positions within hotels. As we go through this webinar today, we will give you some examples of where some of our students are moving on to. But the key thing here is that the hospitality industry is much more wider and diverse than hotels just itself. The program itself also it is for people that come from a hospitality background, but also for those career changers. In fact, on the program at the moment, I would say that the split between the students is actually about 50-50. So if you don't come with experience within the hospitality industry, that's absolutely fine. You know, some students, very often we hear that, you know, they're studying a field, they're in an industry where it's not for them. And they decide to switch to hospitality. So for people without the industry experience, this is not an issue at all. In fact, what we do recommend, and we can look at a little bit later on, is what we call the hospitality immersion program. So this is actually something that you can do pre-masters. So it gives you the foundations of the operational roles within hospitality. Also, the program is for career developers. So, as we said, there's no previous experience or studies in hospitality required. If you do come from a hospitality background, that's very much welcomed. But very much it's for students that wish to develop their competencies and are looking for those managerial positions within the industry. And what we're really positioning this program for is the future leaders within the industry. Last of all, what should be forefront of mind is we're looking for students with a service mindset. And we are finding this more and more nowadays, where companies, for example, private banks, are coming to hospitality schools and recruiting students and graduates because they have the people within the banking industry and the expertise, but they don't have those people with the service mindset. So that's where we have a diverse range of industries coming to us, and they're looking to recruit, as I said, interns and also graduates as well. One of the examples is that I currently have a student at the FM's tobacco company, Philip Morris, and he joined Philip Morris as a CRM intern, and he's currently managing their digital marketing campaign. So, as I mentioned, in terms of actually diversity of the industry and roles, they're very wide. So moving on to the next screen, so looking at the actual degree itself. So the MSc degree, so what would we say that sets us apart? What sets Glion apart and what sets this program apart? The opportunity is very much for you to connect with industry leaders and elite guest lecturers. Our faculty and Glion, as one of the renowned hospitality schools in the world, have an excellent network, and this is where we can really bring in those, we bring in guest speakers, we connect you with the industry. We also work with what we call the industry advisory group. So this is companies within the industry that come to us and share with us what is the expertise, what are they looking for, what are they looking for in future leaders, what are the key topics that they see that are important. And this is actually fed back into our programs. So what we really try to do is make sure that we are innovating and that these programs are kept up to date and ensuring that the topics are relevant and current. And what the future, what the industry is really looking for as a future leader, what should graduates have? And this is what we feed back into the programs. Looking at in terms of a range of specialist fields, so this is where our faculty are really, we will look back at the faculty shortly, but they really are experts in academically and also within the field as well. So as I mentioned, we'll come back to a little bit about our faculty and where they come from and their backgrounds. Another area that we really push on is about developing as a student your critical thinking, your research, your writing skills. And I'll actually bring in here Thomas, perhaps just to give me an example of where you would have been pushed outside of your comfort zone in some of the assessments, and how have we really pushed you to develop this critical thinking?
Yeah, so we have to write many essays in our program, and usually we have to use the critical thinking. We work on that thanks, for example, to the leadership program. And for example, I think the most difficult for me was to choose one topic. I choose one topic, and after you have to find the good balance between the theory and the practice, and have the big picture of your topic. And this is where you have to develop your critical thinking. I mean.
All right, thank you. We challenge you. I think Thomas and Puneet will probably agree. And lastly here, it's really about the courses that we have. We have expert faculty behind them, and it really gives you as a student to go behind the scenes as we are networked with 5-star brands, organizations. In one of the forthcoming trips that we have, there is some very prestigious and iconic companies that we will be visiting and meeting with. So that's a little bit about the MSc degree as an overall. Moving on, thank you, to the next screen, where we'll look at the master's program in a little bit more detail. So as prospective students, I'm sure that you've already seen the overview of the structure of the program. So I'll just very quickly go through what this looks like in terms of your actual time that you spend with us. As I mentioned before, students can either come from a hospitality background, or if they do not, they can choose to take what we call the Hospitality Immersion Program. It's a 4-week course, and it's held in our Glion campus, and it's very much an operational course, and it looks into things like fine wines, front office, service, a fantastic program which students really get the opportunity to bond and to really get that operational experience behind them before they start the master's degree. So that's actually held in Glion. And then the actual academic part of the studies themselves. So the 2 semesters you spend, so the choice is obviously that you can either go to study this program in Puhr or in London. During your semester 1 and semester 2 are where your academic studies are held on campus with us. Included in these 2 semesters, we have a number of things like the field trips and our networking events, which we will elaborate on a little bit later. So that's your academic studies with us, and then the 3rd semester is actually off campus, where you are either undertaking what we call a business research project or an internship. Now, I say at this point in semester 3 that you are off campus, but in reality, you are still with us, because what we do is we ensure you are connected with us. So if you undertake a business research project, you will have a dedicated tutor with you who will follow your progression. You meet with them a number of times. They will give you feedback on your draft projects until you make your final submission. So they're very much there to guide you along the way. If you choose to take the internship, we have an internship team, again, who will follow your progress. Who are there with you, and alongside the actual teams, there is the program team. So again, our role is really to make sure that whilst you're off campus, that you're very much well connected with us as well. And after the 1.5 years of the MSc program, this is when you are awarded the Masters of International Science in International Hospitality Business. So that's the overall structure of the program. And looking at the program in a little bit more detail, so that's just on to the next slide. I won't go through all of these in detail, but as I mentioned, 2 semesters of actual courses. What to mention here is that we look very regularly at the actual content of the courses and making sure that they are relevant, they are topical. I mentioned earlier the industry advisory group that we meet with regularly, and one of the comments from them a couple of semesters back was actually, we need people with knowledge and expertise behind revenue management. We need the way the industry, the way the world is going, digital transformation and data analytics. These are important topics. So this is where we then look to see where we can bring in experts from the field as well. So here's semester 1. As you can see, at the end of semester 2, we normally have a field trip, which is the topic is about managing service excellence and hospitality. We'll share a little bit of detail through that in a second. Semester 2, again, a range of topics, everything from finance to human resources. But just to point out here is that there are 4 new courses that we are introducing from the March intake, which are food retail entrepreneurship. There's another course about asset management, hospitality brand management, and also sustainability. As we also hear from students, this is such an important topic for them, and also from the industry too. A little bit about the food retail entrepreneurship. This course is actually looking at the concept that food does not just exist as in hotels and in restaurants. So what the course is very much developed about disruption within the industry, looking at new business models, and looking further than how food and retail and entrepreneurship go beyond just a restaurant in a hotel. One of the exciting things about this particular course is we have a faculty member on board that's going to use his own example of how he's working on a microbrewery. So that's just a little bit about the actual courses. And as I mentioned, in semester 3, that's where you go on to your internship or your business research project. Okay, so just a little bit more from myself, and then I will. One of the things that we mentioned there, as you can see, that within the actual structure of the program, we do host a field trip. And the last field trip we hosted was in January 2020, where we boarded an MSc Grandioso cruise ship. So this was actually a cruise ship which took us around 5 or 6 different destinations around the Mediterranean. So the idea of the field trip is it's academic content also, but with fun as well. So we had a great time visiting all these different places. We actually went to Malta, where as part of the network that we have, we work with the Intercontinental Hotel Group, where we were able to meet the GM of the hotel, who is actually incidentally a Glion alumni. So we managed to, this picture here, this was the whole group here having a session with the GM, and then we also managed to have some one-to-one time with him as well. On board the actual cruise itself, 4,500 passengers is almost like a floating city itself. So we were able to have a conversation with the hotel director of the hotel director of MSc and also entertainment. And this is where he was able to give us insights into how do you manage a cruise ship with a team of 1,500 staff on board? How do you manage them? How do you keep them motivated? And how do you manage something at such a great, such a big operation? So this was something that we did in terms of the actual cruise ship and the field trip. I must say that every semester what we do is we look at new ideas and we bring in, as I said, it's academically and also a chance for students and the teams to get together and enjoy as well. On to the next part then, looking at our experts. So this is our faculty team. So again, I mentioned earlier that our faculty are from very diverse backgrounds. They bring together practical and academic experience. And this is what you experience in the classroom. So we have everybody that's everybody from people that have come from general management positions within well-known hotel brands to finance consultants. We have a chef previously as well, so F&B backgrounds, but they really are the people that guide you, lead you, and bring all this practical and theory together. Puneet or Thomas, maybe you just want to give a little bit of an insight each very quickly on how your experience was in the classroom with the faculty. Thomas?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I think it's about the experience. It's very good. Obviously, I am with Mr. Hayward in revenue management, which is very an interesting class. In every class, I think we learn something, and every time I think this is very interesting, and I have nothing to say about the learning in Glion. This is very good.
Puneet, your experience?
Yes, so if I can add, so I have had the privilege of being taught by Mr. Schofield, Mr. Senior, Miss Pia, and Miss Newnham. For sure, I can say all of them hold such an amazing knowledge in their particular fields. And not only about that, it's how they bring the practical knowledge from their life experience into the theory that we're learning. I think it gives us a great insight about how the industry is being run inside and out, not only from the theory aspect of it, but also from the practical aspect as well. So definitely amazing professors.
I think we all agree they are one of the highlights of the Glion experience for you guys. So, okay, thank you, Puneet and Thomas. And lastly, just moving on then to the overall program. So today I've given you some insights into the actual program, how it's structured, who are the faculty. how is that experience? But what I want to talk about here is just finally summarizing the overall program benefits. As a student, what does this program bring to you? As we mentioned, for us, it is very much bringing to students a real world management experience. How do we do this? And it's through various ways in terms of, we mentioned the field trip, and here we are here actually on the MSc cruise liner. So bringing this expertise through field trips, through our networks, it's about putting that theory into practice. How do we do this also in the internships and the business research projects? So it's bringing all this theory together. The teaching and the learning techniques that we have, you will find that as a student, it's very different on each course. And I'm sure Thomas and Puneet will probably vouch for that, because it depends on the course. You may find that a leadership course is actually, the way that it's developed is very different, for example, to an accounting course. But the teaching, the learning, the techniques are really focused and very different depending on which particular course you're following. One of the things that has always stood out to me though here is that as students, what I hear is very often, and Thomas and Puneet, you'll have to tell me whether this is going to be your experience at the end, it's about how it transforms you personally and academically. I had students previously said that I came to Glion and that was very much to learn about these courses, but what I did not expect is the transformation as an individual. And this is all done through the teaching and the learning techniques that are adopted into the actual classes itself. So moving on into the actual personalized approach, and this is where very much Glion, we oops, sorry, just lost a slide. So we're very much about a personalized approach. We are a boutique school. Our classes are small sizes, and it's very much about having that one-to-one attention from the faculty members, right the way through to our guest lecturers, right the way through the program teams. I know Puneet very well. I know what he came to do, and I know where he will be heading, and I'm sure Thomas the same with you in London as well. We really need to understand what our students are looking for and where they're heading to. So it's about not just being a number to us, it's a student that we follow their journey with them. And last of all, it's very much about, as I mentioned before, it's about developing these managerial and leadership skills. It's preparing the future leaders in a diverse industries. As I mentioned before, the hospitality industry is now not just about hotels. We are looking for everything from luxury brands to family businesses. Students come to us saying, I will be taking over as the next generation, right the way through to FMCG to pharmaceuticals. And just to end on one point, I'm actually going to just let Puneet share with us a little bit about his internship that he will be starting in a few weeks' time. Thank you, Puneet.
Thank you, Pretima. So I was grateful to have an internship with this company called Axola. So Axola is an investment company which is based out of Germany. However, my internship is based in south of Spain in a town called Tarifa. Now, Axola aims to open a new luxury boutique property in 2022. For this particular project, my main role is going to be to conceptualize and help build the strategy for the hotel in order to help them successfully open their property in 2022. So it's mainly an asset-based company in which they invest in private businesses and commercial real estate.
Thank you, Puneet. And I know, Thomas, that you're at the end of your semester one, you'll be now thinking about semester two. So I look forward to hearing a little bit about your future roles and internships. So I think that's pretty much that what we have. We will obviously take questions at the end, myself and Puneet and Thomas. If we just move on then to the next, I will hand over back to Laurie. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Pretima. Thank you, Thomas and Puneet. So now we are switching to the second part of the presentation, just a few more minutes before the Q&A. So I'd like to welcome our expert in remote learning, Ruth Puhr, Faculty Development Advisor, and Michael Macdonald, our Online and Learning Technology Manager. So they will tell you more about our flexible learning options. We also have on the line Jacquie Lutz, Head of Career and Internship, and she will talk you through how her and her team can support you throughout the study. Sorry, I'm very struggling today. So let's move on to the next slide. So you might all be wondering, okay, I would like to start this master, but how am I going to do if I cannot travel to Switzerland? So we have a couple of different options available. So I will hand over to Michael and Ruth, and they will explain all of it.
Oh, perfect. Thanks very much. My name's Mike Macdonald. I manage education technology here for the Glion brand in Switzerland. Ruth, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Ruth Puhr, and I look after teaching and learning development for Le Roche, the sister school of Glion. Mike and I work very closely together to ensure that all of these flexible learning options, where you may not be able to come on campus and need to do part or most of your learning remotely, is a really positive experience for all of you.
Perfect. I think what we want to talk about at first is the differences between remote learning and online learning, because I think many people, you don't know where you're going to end up, if you're going to be getting taught on campus, excuse me, I'm getting a call, if you're going to be getting taught on campus or being taught online. So I think one of the things that we wanted to get across at first is what is online learning and what is remote learning, and what are the differences between them. I think if we look at what online learning was in the past, and some people use this definition in the future, but we'll say online learning was what was used in the past. It was a lot of high quality video and reading materials, and a lot of materials that were designed using learning paths, learning designers, and it was static, so you would do an online course, you wouldn't meet anyone physically, you would do a lot of interactions, there would be a lot of text-based stuff, and there would be many interactions with other students and with other faculty. We had online programs here, and we've not really moved forward with them in this new world in remote learning. Over the last 12 months, as an institution, we have learned so much. And we're moving into this new world. Some people call it online learning. We call it remote learning. And we're taking the best bits from online learning, and we're trying to develop we are developing new programs that have got the best bits from them. So we're trying to leverage our digital tools. We are leveraging digital tools. We're using a lot of video, we're using a lot of stuff like that. And when we're doing that, we've kind of got 3 guiding principles for design when we're doing that. We're maximizing connections with people, we've got a consistent approach, and we're using high quality media where it's appropriate. When we're maximizing connections, we want you to have as much connection possibilities, similar to what Pretima was saying before, with all the lecturers, with the visiting lecturers, with industry experts, because these are the people you want to extract the knowledge from. But also we're teaching skills. It's skill-based. What Thomas was saying earlier, we want to teach critical thinking. So we want that chance for you to interact with other students as well. So we've built our systems with that. If you're online or if you're on campus, our systems support that. So what you could do, you're in a classroom, we use this thing called Moodle. You see what you're doing on that day, you jump into your team session, you get a lecture from a visiting lecturer or an industry expert, and they tell you about the stuff, then they give you some tasks to do. And then you jump into that breakout rooms and you discuss that with your other students. Lots of connection opportunities. So that's one of the things that we're really working towards, and some of the things we've really learned over the last 12 months. The next bit we're thinking about is consistency. You need to know as a student, if you are remote or even if you're on campus, you need to know where you're at. You need to know what course you're doing. You need to know when you're getting assessed. You need to know when to join these sessions. And we make sure that our learning platforms have that consistency in them. So you're not overloaded with information. So you know when you're going to do your assessment, when you're going to do a guest lecture, and so on like that. So consistency is one of the things we're really working toward. The last thing is high quality media. Where appropriate, we're using a lot of high quality media, which is engaging. We're using a lot of tools where that's appropriate. Like what Thomas was saying before, we're teaching analytical skills. So sometimes these tools, they're not just using the tools for using the tool's sake. We're using them to try and help you develop analytical skills, help you develop your critical thinking skills. And so that's kind of the 3 main things. We're maximizing connections, we're building consistency, and we're using high quality media where appropriate. So I think that's our difference between online learning and remote learning, and where we're moving to in the next few months. I think if I pass you over to Ruth, she's going to talk a little bit more about the high flex model and how we're using that in the classroom as well. Thanks.
Yeah, so as Mike described, we've really gotten very good now at this remote learning and how to ensure that students who can't come on campus manage to have a great learning experience too. But we needed a third possibility. In addition to the face-to-face and the remote possibility, we have a solution for students who need flexibility with possibly fluctuating situations, where they might start their learning remotely and then be able to come on campus, or they might be on campus and suddenly need to self-isolate because they've been in contact with someone who was infected, and so not be able to come on into their face-to-face class for some time. So our solution is called High Flex. It means that we have 3 groups of learners. You could even have a learner in another area of the world also catching up on the learning. The face-to-face learners, the remote learners who are joining live, and the remote learners who are catching up later can all be in the same course together, can all work together in group projects to ensure that we have an equivalence of learning outcomes, and offering students this choice of being able to join live or catch up later, or even do both, join live and rewatch the material later, which for very sophisticated material can be really useful. All of this has kind of combined together to create this high flex experience, which we've now tested since the summer and is working very well across our programs.
Thank you, Ruth.
Are you frozen?
I think my connection, sorry, I have very bad internet connection, so it's very slow. So now I will hand over to Jacquie. Thank you so much, Ruth. I think we will say goodbye to you, Ruth, and we will keep Michael for the Q&A later.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye. Jacquie, it's your turn. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Laurie. So, well, hello, everybody. I'm delighted to be here with you today. My name is Jacquie Lutz. I'm head of career and internship at Glion. And you've already heard a lot about the program. Pretima's given you a lot of details about the academic side of things. And I know that you're excited to come to Glion to learn also about what your possibilities are for your future career and how we're going to help you to get there, because it's no secret to anyone that the situation right now has affected hospitality, as it's affected most industries in some way or another, and that you need to be thinking about your futures already now before you start, and where you're going to be going and what you're going to be doing. So I'd like to introduce you to our career department. Obviously, you will have a dedicated advisor, one of our most experienced advisors, who takes care of all the master students, and she will give you a lot of introductory presentations. She will help you with your CVs. She will help you with all the basics that you can expect from a careers department. Guidance in motivation letter writing, interview skills. We also have an online portal where your CV will be uploaded, and you will have access to our entire employer database, where we have up to 5,000 contacts on there, as well as all the offers that will come in that you will be able to select and apply for. So this is what you can expect from any career department. And we're also offering a number of other things for you, special things. So first of all, I think you can see on this slide, it says online psychometric testing. So this will be offered to all incoming master students. The possibility to take part in a program which will give them access to this online profiling, and you will get individual feedback on your personal profile, on what kind of career is suited to you, what kind of roles are suited to you, what your strengths are, and what points you can work on a little bit more. This will be in the form of personalized, extremely personalized career support. It's been given in conjunction with the career department, so you will have not only access to your in-house advisor, but this service, which is an external service, will be provided for you as well. So each student will have access to this, and you will be introduced to this very soon, very quickly. The idea being that you know a little bit more about your professional persona prior to our very first online, well, your very first, our second online recruitment day. Because as you may know, we have a recruitment day that happens every semester. Usually it's face-to-face, and we bring a lot of recruiters in, and we have a great day where there's a lot of networking takes place, and a lot of interviews, and some jobs are offered and some internships are found, and everyone's very happy. Unfortunately, last year we were not able to stage this in the normal context of being on campus, so we've moved it online, just like the teaching programs, and it's been very successful. Our first event was in November, and we'll be holding this again in April. So towards the end of April, you will be able to attend this. Last November, we had over 70 recruiters present, and so we want to get you as ready for this as possible. So your first task when you arrive will be, one of your first tasks, apart from your academic work, will be to work on getting your professional CV up and running, and also to taking these psychometric tests that will really gear you towards understanding your own personal professional profile. You will also be able to connect with our alumni organization, and you will be part of the alumni organization. And through that alumni organization, perhaps, Laurie, we can flip to the next slide. You will, when you start a master's, gain a mentor. And as I said, this will be done in conjunction with our alumni organization. You will be matched individually with a mentor. Now, mentorship is something that's really, really important. It helps bridge the gap between industry and schools. It helps introduce you to industry. It gives you access to a big top industry player who may be a Glion alumnus or alumna, and who may be also not a Glion alumnus or alumna. As I say, you will be matched according to your profile, your interests, your goals, what you want to do, what your intention is at the end of your master's degree, and also what your specialization is. So you will be matched and set up with a meeting with your mentor, and you will then be able to have regular sessions. Now, what will you do in these sessions? You'll be able to share your hopes, your goals. You'll be able to ask for advice. You'll be able to get advice on your career path, on your chosen internships or even jobs. It will discussing things with somebody who has experience in the industry that you're going into will give you amazing insight into that industry, and also some really helpful tips about entering the industry. And I think it's a real added value to the program, and I think to your professional, who you will come out as a professional. I'd just like to take this opportunity to congratulate Punit, who I understand is going to start his internship very soon. And I think that's great because, as we all know, it is not an easy time to be finding internships. I think we have here a real live example of the fact that the industry is continuing. It does go on, and Punit's found his internship. He's going to be very successful in that. And congratulations, Punit. Thank you very much, Laurie.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Jacquie. So I hope you can see the next slide because it stays frozen most of the time. So we will go very briefly over the entry requirements. If you have any particular question about the application process, the fees, scholarship, I invite you to go on our website, glion.edu, and to fill a contact form. You will then be in touch with one of our counselors. It's very a personalized approach. It's case by case, so it's easier if you just ask your question directly in the contact form than in this session today. So you have the entry requirement on your screen right now, minimum age 21 years old, and you also need to meet the English requirement. So It has been a lot of information for you, so I think it is time to go on to the Q&A. I already had a couple of questions. So Michael, if you want to come back on the line, I can already see some questions about the remote learning. So first question, hospitality being majorly about networking, would online learning hinder the overall experience and opportunities? I think you're on mute, Michael.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I guess that's for me. No, not at all. We're giving you exactly the same possibilities to learn and connect with lecturers and students when you're remote. And I think with that in mind, it's exactly the same with us on the academic side and also on the career department side as well. I mean, and Jacquie might be able to talk to that. All our systems are in place, so you can connect with career counsellors. You can connect with the Simplicity platform to go through to get career things, and also on the academic side as well. So yeah, we're totally aware that you'd like to be here, and for the people that can't, yeah, why not use this time to study, because we can certainly support you.
Yeah, I'd like to add something there. Sorry, go ahead, Puneet.
With the student affairs, we actually have 9 committees that we work with, and after this year being a lot of it being remote, all the committees have been managing and devising new ways of interacting with people and keeping our student community very active, even through online platforms. So we have a committee dedicated to networking. It's called Networking Committees, and they've done a very successful job this semester organizing a lot of net talks, as they call it, where they call professionals from the industry, and we have them online, and you can ask them any questions whatsoever, and that way you can also connect with them on LinkedIn, and they're generally very responsive there as well. So just to add that.
And if I could add something as well, obviously I've already spoken about the online recruitment event, Connect and Recruit, where we have industry representatives present. But I think if I can take a step back and look where we were this time last year, nobody would have imagined that we would be doing everything this way online. But don't forget, it's not just at Glion, it's not just in education, it's everywhere. It's all the industry. So all the partners in industry, all the recruiters, they all know that we have to use this platform. So you're not the only ones, and by far, everyone is doing it this way, and we're making it work, and everybody is making it work. So please don't feel that this is going to be any hindrance to you. It's a fact of life right now. We can't get away from it.
I think Jacquie and Puneet, just to add on that I think we, as you said, this was new to us, but in every sense, we've found the way to connect. So whether it's in the classroom, the faculty members are trying to bring in guest speakers, it's we're learning as we go along, but we've managed to keep connecting and networking.
Absolutely, and I'd like to add that hospitality is a very resourceful industry. The people who work in hospitality are extremely resourceful, imaginative people. They like to connect, they need to connect. That's part of being a hospitality person, and solutions are found at all levels.
I think just going back onto innovation, and we talked about this right at the beginning, and I think one of the most amazing things that I've just experienced, which our students will see, is an online graduation ceremony. If you actually think, how was this even about to happen? That we've all been in, the team's been involved, students have been involved in filming this. This is the situation for currently now, but this is something that will go ahead in a fantastic format. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next question. So what are the training and placement options during and after the program? So this might be for Jacquie about the internship.
So obviously you will have the option to do your internship at the end of the program, and you will also want to be getting a job afterwards. This is the whole point of gaining your education, is to go into the industry. So I think you will come out of these programs being equipped for the modern hospitality world. You will obviously get a great technical understanding, and that is going to be one of the secrets to success. in the future is having good technical skills, being able to understand the modern world of communication, etc. Yes, right now, Puhr has found an internship, and I think, again, he's a great example. He is not the only one. There are fewer opportunities. We are seeing that, for sure. Hospitality is not in the best place right now. But again, it's one of the most resilient industries. Experts and professionals of the industry have been coming together for a long time to discuss how and when hospitality will recover. I think it will recover. I'm guessing that you guys out there are as eager as we are here to get on a plane and go somewhere, to travel again, to take a weekend break, to visit relatives and family and friends around the world, and to have all those things that we, gosh, didn't we take them for granted last year, this time last year, go away for a weekend, etc. We're eager to do that again. As soon as that comes back, hospitality will spring into life again, and there will be opportunities. Oh, I was listening to an Accor presentation last week. They are opening, still opening hotels, not quite at the same rate as they have been in the past, still opening hotels. I had an email from a colleague in hospitality who said, I've moved to the south of Spain. We're opening in 2021. There are things moving out there. There will be possibilities. So it will take some looking, maybe. It won't be handed to you on a plate. But I think the qualities and skills that you will develop on this program, and the resilience as well, will teach you that, you know, there is survival out there and you will be able to do it.
I think, Jackie, as you mentioned before, and you probably see this, is that, as we mentioned, the students are really finding roles in diverse industries now. So, for example, with Puhr, he's going into something slightly different. We have students out there, as I mentioned earlier, with digital marketing campaigns for Philip Morris. We have another student just who's been allocated a job role today for a real estate company. So I'm sure that you're seeing this across the master programs as well.
Absolutely, and it's that familiar phrase, thinking outside the box, going a bit further, looking at different opportunities, looking not just in the mainstream, but being very resourceful and imaginative and optimistic and just going for it. And that's what will the people who have that kind of get up and do it attitude will be the ones who are successful. And that is the attitude that we encourage here at Glion. Laurie, any more questions?
Yes, we do have a lot of questions coming. What is the average age of the master students, and how many students do we have in one class?
Okay, so I would say that the average age is probably about, I'd say 25, but the actual range in a class, Susie used to show them earlier, the entry level is 21, but we have students at 30 plus. So you actually have quite a wide range in terms of the age. In terms of class sizes, they differ according to the semester when you join. Puhr has joined a semester where you have 37 in your class. And in the current September cohort, we have a much bigger cohort, so we divide the classes into two. So you're looking at, in that particular cohort, about 40 per class. And I think, Thomas, on your side in London, it is a slightly smaller, so maybe just in terms of your class sizes.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that in our class, we are 18 in our class, yes. And the average age is around 23 this year.
Thank you. Next question, so it's for Thomas and Puhr. Someone on the line would like to know, what is your routine? What does your schedule look like? How is the life for Thomas when you were in London, Puhr in Switzerland?
Thank you. So okay, so about the routine these days, as you know, we are in remote classes, but we are also in exams. So around, I would say that in the day we have classes between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and after usually we have group works. So we worked in remote between the groups. Usually we have many group works at the same time. So you have to manage this thing, but it's fine, and it's fine. I think Puhr, you can
Perfect. Thank you, Thomas. So like you mentioned, right now, currently we are in the exam phase. So a lot of studying is going on. A lot of our term ends are basically all projects. So we have to work in collaboration with a lot of other students. However, a lot of it is online. Other than that, we also have an Instagram page called Glion Hospitality School, where students on weekly or bi-weekly basis, we show a day in a life of a student in Glion. So that would be a very good example as well, where you could go and see that, because they start from the morning all the way till the evening. It will involve all the different restaurants that we have on campuses. They show you all the campuses as well, and how in general the life is for all the students living on each and every campus. So yeah,
I think probably just to mention, Puhr is actually still with us in Puhr. So even though he is the learning is online, remote, he's still with us. So you still get to meet with your group members in small groups, and we still see you.
Yes, for sure. Just to add that.
So just a few more questions before we close the session. Is it possible to take optional language courses? This might be for Pretima.
Okay, yeah, so foreign language courses are not included as part of the overall curriculum because, as we mentioned, this is a master's degree in international hospitality business, so it's very much the foundation courses that are needed, everything from accounting to revenue management to leadership. One thing I forgot to mention actually earlier is what we really do is develop our students in terms of their soft skills, because this is very much looked for in the industry and also for companies and organisations that come from outside hospitality. So in terms of the actual courses, there are no specific language courses delivered as part of the curriculum.
Thank you, Pretima. Question for Jacquie now. Are the internships paid?
Well, this is a question that seems to come up regularly. The answer to that is some are and some aren't. As you probably realize, we have an international network of employers who take our students, and what is usual for Dubai is not usual for London or Thailand, for example, just to throw a few random names out there. So in certain cases, as far as internship is concerned, the remuneration is regulated by local governments, well, local as in national governments. For example, in France, there is a fixed amount that an intern must earn. Same goes for Switzerland. Same does not go for certain countries in Asia. Let's look at Vietnam or Thailand, for example, where often your package will include a lodging and food and maybe a small amount of pocket money. But most of the inclusive in the package will be everything you need to take care of yourself. In Dubai, you will be offered also a small stipend, for example, in the United Arab Emirates, where everything is taken care of, again, by the employer, sometimes even the flights, the lodging, the transportation between the lodging and the property, the food, the washing of your clothes, etc. So yes, it really does depend on the country. And as I say, it tends to be a countrywide regulations that govern the salary in terms of internships.
Okay, two more questions and then we close. We are getting over time. This question is for Thomas. What would be your advice for a student joining the London campus in this fall?
I would say that there is no change about joining London campus. Okay, we are today we are learning by remote, but I have not really an advice about this. There is no change. Just come on and feel free to go in Glion.
Perhaps we can talk about, staying on campus versus staying off campus. What do you recommend?
I would say it depends on you on campus. I know that some people from my class are on campus now, and they're still in their rooms, and I can speak together, and and they do something together. But also, if you stay at home, you can absolutely enjoy also with your future classmates, because I think you will have some WhatsApp groups or other groups and enjoy with them also as well. Depends on you what you want.
Thank you, Thomas. Last question for Pretima, then we'll have to close the session. What's the ratio between theoric and practical learning?
I would say it's probably about 60 theoretical, 40 practical. I'm going to ask the students that really. So, am I roughly about that, Puneet? Thomas?
So yeah, I think that's a fair estimate. In most of all our classes, we would like to have a very good balance between theory and practice, in which we will learn the theory and then we will also learn how to apply the theory that we're learning in practice. So I can give you a small quick example. For example, in revenue management, we had to work in a simulation concept. So we were actually working in teams and we were working online on a simulation where we had to make each and every decision for a hotel in terms of its F&B, rooms division, marketing, human resources, and it was more of a competitive environment. So it was like we were in 8 teams in the whole class, and every team is going against each other. So it was very competitive. It was very practical, and of course you have to have some theory knowledge in order to use that practical aspect of the assignment as well. So that gives you a little bit of an idea.
And I think it depends on the course as well. So some you will find that they tend to be a little bit more theoretical. Another one that comes to mind is the data analytics course, where the faculty member has split the course into very much about digital transformation for businesses. But the other part of the course is very much about, as he calls it, rolling up your sleeves and creating a website. And this is what the practical part where, you know, the students actually quite enjoy producing these websites as well. I think it depends on the course, but as I said, a rough estimate is about 60.
All right, this is the end of the session. If you have any more questions, you are welcome to go on our website. You can see the address on your screen, glion.edu. There is a contact form where you can ask all of your questions, especially about scholarship and fees, because we couldn't answer them today. If you go onto the different campus pages, you can also get in touch with our ambassadors, like Puneet and Thomas, if you have any specific questions. Thank you to our panel today. We were a lot of people, so it was hard to manage. I apologize for the technical issues. Thank you, Pretima, Jacquie, Thomas, Puneet, and Michael. I wish all of you a lovely end of the day or a lovely evening, wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.